All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! This is the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and podcast. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
That's so funny.
Hey, and scene. What makes a comedian a good dramatic actor?
Wow,
right?
That scene, like that switch right there, that was really good.
That was good,
was
right?
really
Just
good.
found the
Comedy to
movie.
drama.
Did you guys talk about this already?
Can you hold on? Can I finish my fucking intro?
Sorry.
You are goddamn scatterbrained, okay?
Scatterbrain.
You remember that scene in Wizard of Oz where the scarecrow gets like all ripped apart, his straws everywhere?
Yes.
That's you.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
All right.
I saw a comedian. Anyway, you should say what we're talking about.
Dude, not even a minute in, we've derailed. What?
Oh, man.
Nick, go.
Okay, so
This is my job, okay?
Yes.
I derail everything.
Let's talk about when comedians get serious.
Okay.
Because comedians are, it's funny, it's for the most part, it's a pretty successful transition, right? For a comedian who sometimes comes up through the stand-up world,
Yeah.
sometimes they come up through sketch comedy, sometimes they just come up in movies themselves, and they're goofy, they're slapstick at times.
Yeah.
But then they do these transitions, usually a little bit later in their career. They end up doing these movies, which are dramatic, and they're pretty damn good for the most part. Like their performance, you're like,
Incredible.
oh, like shit, I guess that guy can act. Like
Right.
legitimate, like comedy's acting, but they can act a fool, like more than just a fool, right?
Right.
And I think we should talk about that. There's a lot of examples. What were you gonna say, Neil?
Well, no. So we were. Someone had mentioned earlier Jim Carrey, and I was like, oh, fine. I was trying to think of like a serious Jim Carrey role, and then a Truman Show.
23 hours. Was
Number
it
23.
Number 23.
I mean, yeah, he's been in like.
Yeah,
like
but Truman Show would probably be his first.
I felt like,
dramatic-
yeah, I saw that. Or in The Majestic. I forgot all about The Majestic. Have you guys seen that?
That's an earlier one,
That's an earlier one.
That was
right?
about.
And he was in Peggy Sue Got Married.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
But let's go with Truman Show. I think is probably the
His
best
first
first
one.
Yeah, I thought he
example
was
that anybody.
great in that movie.
Dude,
Oh my gosh,
that
yeah,
is
his
such a good
performance was
movie.
so good.
Because he has a little
not
bit of
just
comedy.
comedy.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has a little bit of comedy in it, but that movie is more dramatic.
Yeah.
Than comedy, I would say.
Yeah.
That movie's so good.
That movie was incredible because he used his comedic style. In like 23, number 23.
Yeah.
There was no comedic
was all
style.
drama.
There's no Jim Carrey in his new cop film. There's no comedic
Yeah.
Jim Carrey in there.
Right.
In Truman,
Well,
his
he was a
comedic
television star
It was a
who
good-
didn't
Well, he
know
didn't
he was
know.
a television
he didn't know.
star.
But he didn't
yeah.
know. He just lived a normal life, and he had his comedic style in there.
Yeah.
And so that was like, I think Truman was like that transition point.
It was a
where
good
you
bridge.
saw
It was a good bridge
him
to drama work.
transfer. Yeah, exactly. Transfer into the dramatic roles.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, because we only knew him as outlandish as shit in Living
Yeah.
Color, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and then all of a sudden he smacks us with The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, whoa.
It was like, oh, this guy. And what I liked about that is that was a glimpse into, because there's no way that this guy in his normal life was anything like those characters in those other movies. Like, there's no way
Correct.
he's walking around being an Ace Ventura and being crazy. And you see interviews with him too, and he'd be like all out there and crazy, almost like a Robin Williams.
Yeah.
But then he did the Truman Show, and he brought heart to it.
Yeah.
And he brought like an emotional element to it. And there's like real scenes where he's like, who the hell are you talking to? Right. But like there really was like, it was more than just like, I'm trying to say who the hell are you talking to for comedic effect. It was sort of like what the fuck is going on? You felt the turmoil of this guy realizing that his life was out of his own control and he wasn't controlling his own destiny or his own fate.
Yeah.
Also Man on the Moon.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Man on the Moon was the next one, which he was playing a comedian, but because it was a biopic, whatever you want to call it.
It was more.
He was bringing a lot of drama. He had to die at the end of that movie from cancer. There was a lot of drama in that film.
There was a lot of drama. Even outside,
Yeah.
outside the film, there was a lot of drama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Jim Beyond Andy.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy and
And
Jim
how
or
he
whatever.
how he took that role not only on screen but outside of the screen.
Yeah, he was totally method
On
actor
set.
on that.
Yeah.
And then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so
Totally
this,
dramatic.
This movie, The Majestic, I don't know if
Yeah.
have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen that, no.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yes, Frank Darabont directed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
he had done
Green Mile, Walking Dead,
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No,
Mist.
no, it's-
The Mist.
That was actually
thing?
after
The Mist?
Man on the Moon. He did Me, Myself, and Irene, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and then Majestic in 2001.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a great movie. He that's actually far more of a serious. I wouldn't say it's a super serious film. It's definitely a drama, but it's this guy who loses his memory, thinks he's just like is found. He like flies off a cliff or something, gets into an accident, is found, and then the entire town thinks he's this guy who went to war and
Yeah.
he like came back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember who he is, so he just goes along with people being like, "Oh, you look just like this guy's son who went to war during World War II or whatever, and now you're back and you're alive." And the whole town's like, "Yay, like you're alive!" But Jim Carrey was just some like piece of shit guy from LA or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Who
Yeah.
lost his memory because he like hit his head or whatever.
Wow,
so he just goes
interesting.
along with it, and he helps them like essentially rebuild the town because the whole town went to this big depression when like all their boys were sent to war and like none of them came back. Or
Yeah.
something.
So this is a period
really
thing? Like
good.
it's 50s,
Yeah, yeah.
40s?
Yeah. It's like I want to say like early 60s or something like that.
Interesting.
Or late 50s.
Interesting.
Great
I've
movie.
literally I've heard of it, but I knew nothing about it. Like
Yeah.
that whole description. I had
Martin
no idea.
Landau's in it.
Love him.
You know, Jeffrey Damone, who's in like every one of this
Darabont's.
guy. Yeah. He's been in like every
Yeah,
Darabont
yeah.
movie. I forget who the chick was. Oh, Laurie Holden.
Okay.
Laura Holden's in. She plays like the main chick. Anyway, it's a really great like character
Right.
drama. Yeah.
Right. Well, so we mentioned for a second Robin Williams, right?
Oh,
so,
1 hour photo.
Yeah. So there's 1 hour photo, but if we go even earlier, the guy's been doing dramatic fare for Dead Poets Society, The
Yeah.
Fisher King.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You
so
know,
good. I
even
love
Good
Fisher
Morning
King.
Vietnam.
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams. That was a little bit later. Yeah. Good Morning Vietnam. Even though there's like a couple of those Dead Poets Society, there's very little comedy coming from him in there.
Yeah.
There's a couple lines that make you like chuckle or laugh or whatever. But even Good Will Hunting have some couple funny lines or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's dramatic. Good Morning Vietnam is an interesting kind of
Mix.
dichotomy. Yeah, I think that was also his first dramatic film. That was 87. So he had
Yeah.
done, Popeye and a bunch of his Mork and Mindy. He'd done, his comedy specials or whatever. And he...
Good morning, Vietnam.
Damn,
Sorry,
yeah.
I had to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Damn.
playing a real guy. That's based on a true story. He's a real guy. He was a DJ during the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And he has to play. He plays it up very comedically in the
Yeah.
movie as the DJ. But outside of that, there's a lot of drama. Like I don't know if you remember that scene towards it. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Vietnam?
At the end where he's
yeah,
like
with the
chasing.
kid.
Yeah.
The kid who's been his friend this whole time.
like betrayed him.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
betrayed
yeah.
him and like I blew up.
Killed,
the
like,
truck-
the soldiers
Killed all
or
the
whatever.
soldiers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like crying and he's losing it. And that whole confrontation in that scene is really intense.
Yeah.
But so this was the first time we really saw Robin Williams be dramatic.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's so good.
He
And
did an incredible job. Yeah.
yeah, and what I love about it is because I love comedy and everything, but when you can look back and you see this person shed a layer, like that's what these guys do when they turn to dramatic work. They shed layers.
Yeah.
They don't add on, they delete. That's what it looks like, right? So they got this character, this persona, like Robin Williams is so out there. He's got this big persona connected to him, and he takes that away. And
Yeah.
it's like, there's the human being. Like, there's the guy.
Yeah.
Or the real person, and they have to bring a lot of their own stuff to the role. And when he did Dead Poets Society, it was the same thing. When he did
Yeah.
Fisher King, the Fisher King was an interesting one because there's comedy in that because he's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
But it's really raw, and he has to play a guy basically suffering with, from a mental illness.
Yeah.
Same with The Awakenings.
The Awakening. Oh,
The
yeah.
Awakenings with Awakenings with him and Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like so it's funny because we think of him so much as a comedic actor,
Yeah.
but the amount of drama he's been doing since very
actually-
early on
yeah.
in his career,
Yeah.
pretty incredible. Like
I just recently watched Awakening.
it's a great movie.
Beautiful film.
Great movie. What was it?
I
What
don't
was it
think
they
I've
were
ever
suffering
seen
from? It's basically about these guys that it's this
It's
in a hospital
I think
mental.
it was Alzheimer.
Is it like
Yeah.
they're complete? I think it's
They start to
Degenerate
degenerating
mentally. and physically to a degree.
Yeah, and so
There's this whole experiment. He's a doctor in this mental institution. Robin Williams is, and Rob De Niro is one of the patients, and they're developing ways to basically bring them back to life. And
So,
Yeah, it
yeah,
says
and so the-
victims of encephalitis epidemic.
encephalitis epidemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are catatonic, and then they
Catatonic,
start
yeah.
taking a new drug, and starts to bring them
Correct,
back to life.
yeah.
exactly. It's really an interesting movie, and Robert De Niro's fantastic in
Oh,
it.
he's amazing.
He's really good. Yeah.
Oh, John Hurd's in it.
Yep.
The dad from Home Alone.
John Hurd. Yeah.
That's
I thought you said John Hurt.
No, John
Like
Hurt.
Alien
Hurt.
from Alien. John Hurt.
Yeah,
from
no,
Alien.
not John
yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah.
I always confuse him and William Hurt.
They look nothing alike.
I know, but the name Hurt.
One's
that's
British
it. Like
and
John and William.
Yeah, but the one that was really, really creepy that he did was just 1 hour photo.
Yes.
And he's so creepy
That
in that
was,
fucking
he
movie.
was so creepy.
So I
He
haven't
nails it.
seen that since it came out, and I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember him being creepy. Even the way he just looked in the movie.
And it's just how he took that family and he started putting himself into the family with the images and the photos and started. It was just so crazy. And you look at this guy with this smirk on his face, and you're like seeing him interact with the people that he's doing this to, and the movie was so good. You're just like, oh my gosh, get away from him.
Yeah.
Because and I love when films like make your state of mind almost be there, like like you were in the fucking aisle trying to say, hey, he's putting himself in the photos. Get away from him. He's creepy as shit.
Run.
It's crazy how great that film was.
Well,
so
around the time he did that, he did Insomnia, which is a Christopher Nolan film with Al Pacino. And he plays the serial killer. Now, he
serial
doesn't
killer,
really show up. When did he show up in that movie? Like 45 minutes in or something like that? You hear him on the
he
phone
shows
a
up,
couple times.
Yeah, you hear him on the phone, and he shows up at the scene when they're on that water boat. That's
On the
first time you
dock
see him
thing or
on the
whatever.
dock,
yeah. And he's creepy as shit in
Creepy
that
as hell,
movie. Like, not like 1 hour photo creepy, but sort of like he has everything
serial killer
justified.
creepy.
Yeah, serial killer.
Yeah.
And he's got everything justified in his mind. And it's a weird choice for Christopher Nolan to select Robin Williams to be the serial killer in his film. But it
Not
works.
really.
No, it's weird.
I think it's only weird because people, for some reason, his biggest hits have been comedies.
That's what I'm saying.
Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, like people associate him, but he's made, like you said, since the beginning, he's been making dramatic films the entire time.
Right. Yeah. But that is the thing. We sort of we do this thing where it's like, can we suspend our image of the person for that movie? And I think when they do it the most, when they get so far away from what you're used to, that's kind of almost where it's more successful.
I want to see DiCaprio and all those guys in like straight up Ace Ventura type comedy. Yeah, like that's what I want to see. I want to see like all the A-listers in a Fairly Brothers
Did you see
film.
movie 43? That movie, that fucking clusterfuck of a movie with
that was just like a weird series of short stories.
Hugh Jackman walks in and he's got like a balls chin made out of testicles.
That was just like grotesque.
It was
like
weird.
it wasn't
It was a weird movie.
like there were elements of that were funny, but then parts of it was just like this is just shot.
But then you find out like the story behind that was like the filmmakers basically were like threatening to sue because all these people wanted out of the film. They'd signed up for this film thinking it was going to be one way, and then when they started getting more involved in it, going, this is going to be a fucking weird shit show of a movie.
Yeah,
they basically wanted out, and the filmmakers were like threatening lawsuits and legal action, and basically forced them by like contract, putting their fucking brains in the contract to do this movie. Or else. That's why this movie has a shitload of A-list stars, but it's so fucking weird. If you've ever seen Kentucky Fried Movie from the late 70s, John Landis movie, it's like that. It's a bunch of short films, but it's freaking weird. It's grotesquely weird.
It just jumps all over the place.
Potty,
I'll make sure to skip
What was the whole thing with Chris Pratt and Anna Faris where they're like pooping on each other or something?
So weird.
She sent him to go get eat a bunch of burritos. Now, what was it?
I don't know. It wasn't Chris Pratt. I think Halle Berry's in it.
There was something about going to Taco Bell and eating.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm was telling. I thought it was Chris Pratt. Was telling Chris Pratt that he has to like poop on his girlfriend.
Such a weird movie.
And he's like, go eat these burritos, and I'm like, what am I watching right now?
So this is the opposite of comedians going to dramatic work. This is dramatic people going.
But it wasn't even comedic. It was just like weird and like, I was
really
shocked.
This is more of a dramatic people choosing the wrong role.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was a comedy. It was like the ultimate farce, like weird movies. But anyways, yeah. So that's Robin Williams. He's definitely probably one of the biggest examples. Now there is one person who almost kind of really, I think, started off more dramatic in a way with her film, which was Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple.
Was that her first movie?
I don't know.
No,
that
she was
her
a stand-up
first
comedian
movie.
prior to that.
That's what I'm saying. She was a stand-up comedian, but in terms of movies, that was I think that was before Jumping Jack Flash, before Fatal Beauty. I don't know if you've seen any of those movies. Way before
I remember
Sister
Jumping
Act.
Jack Flash.
Yeah, I love Jumping Jack Flash, but it was because that was The Color Purple was 85. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was her second movie, and she did this movie called Citizen before that, which was also a drama. So her first two movies were dramatic roles. And The Color Purple, you guys see that?
I feel like to a degree.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
no, I've
yeah,
seen
yeah. It's in Color Purple.
That movie's total. I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. It's that's an intense film.
Very intense film.
Yeah, and she was nominated for an Oscar. This is
Yeah.
only her second movie. It's drama. She was a stand-up comedian at the time,
Yeah, it was a huge deal at the time. When
Yeah.
she was
Wasn't
nominated.
she? No, she wasn't.
and she's good.
Did she get nominated for Ghost?
She won for Ghost.
She
She
won
won
for
for
Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
See, that's the thing that she does, and when
Oda
they
Mae
get
Brown?
into these
Yeah.
Love that movie.
when they get into these role like her, and the same thing as Robin Williams is that when they get that dramatic role, they're like these people that have so much, like a lot of Robin Williams role.
Yeah.
When they're saying that dramatic monologue, there's so much heart in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel some realism to the part that they're playing, and it works real well. Like especially with Oda Mae Brown, you remember the comedic parts of it, you
Yeah.
know. But when she gets
Sam
down,
Wheat! Sam Wheat!
when she gets taken over by Patrick Swayze. I was gonna say Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
That would have been
And
amazing.
she
if it
plays
was
that
Patrick
role, and she
Stewart.
he talks to his wife.
Yeah.
That was
It
amazing.
goes in for the kiss and the touching her hands and everything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
That was so amazing, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just incredible when they do that, you know. And I think this is why they work so well. in
Yeah,
these parts.
and it's interesting because Ghost specifically. So she was a she was a comedian or whatever. She was a stand-up.
Yeah.
And that movie is actually even directed by Jerry Zucker, who directed that Kentucky Fried Movie I was just talking about. He directed Airplane. He did Naked Gun movies.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah, him and his brother and this other guy, they are the masterminds behind these farce comedies, the Naked Guns, Airplanes, Kentucky Fried Movies. They are from that world.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Zucker broke off and decided to do this dramatic film called Ghost and cast a stand-up comedian in it who ended up winning an Oscar. So it's
Yeah.
this interesting fusion of like, and that's something that Adam McKay is doing these days as well. The guy who directed Vice, the movie Vice about Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
And he did The Big Short. This is the guy who was a head writer at SNL. He's the guy who directed a bunch of Will Ferrell's early successful movies. Right? Adam
Oh, yeah.
McKay is like he's a big comedian guy.
Yeah.
But now he's doing these more dramatic movies, Vice, The Big Short.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like almost even beyond just actors. It's like there's this thing about that people bring from the comedy world where I feel like it's harder to move from drama to comedy.
yeah,
Right? Because comedy requires this
precise timing.
the timing is got to be impeccable.
Yeah.
There's this intangible thing to comedy. You're either funny or you're not.
Yeah.
You can't fake funny.
yeah,
Like that's very hard to do.
yeah, Nick.
I mean, how do we know if they're
I'm
faking
gonna
it or not?
slap the frick. Oh man.
Yeah,
You
How do we
can't
know if
fake
they're? How do
funny.
we know if they're faking or not though?
What?
what?
Because they're acting on screen. Like, how do you know that this person? Like, if I
The
saw an actor
performance.
give a
You ever-
comedic performance who's not a stand-up comedian, has no experience as a stand-up comedian, but they give a funny performance, and then I see them
Then they're funny.
off camera, and they're not funny at all.
I love how Nick
No,
just
but-
and they're funny.
There's some there's some actors like that though, where you see them in interviews, and you're like, this person seems like a dick, like or just a non-interesting person, but then on screen,
First off, you don't know that because you don't know the person. They could be
they
really
seem like
funny.
a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
then
okay.
on screen they're hilarious.
So
I'm like,
Gene
wow, this
Wilder,
person's
Gene
great.
Wilder, right? Gene Wilder. This is Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein,
Willy Wonka.
Willy
Yeah. Chocolate
Wonka.
Factory.
Funny guy. I mean, the lady
Hear
in
no
red.
evil, see no evil.
Here, all these things. Silver Streak,
Love that film. Good call.
Stir Crazy, all these Richard Pryor
Yeah.
films, including the one you just said. So this is Gene Wilder, funny guy, right?
Yeah.
The producers, he is like every interview he's almost ever done. He's always been like, I'm not funny off screen. Like I'm a serious guy.
Yeah.
I'm quiet. I'm
remember
serious.
there
I'm
are actors
reserved.
like that.
Yeah, but whenever I actually see interviews with him, he's funny. But he's this weird funny where he's sort of like, he's just naturally, his timing is right. He knows what to say when to get that chuckle, to get that laugh, where it is a natural instinct to him. He may not choose in his life to be like that on a regular basis, trying to make people laugh, but he has it naturally and instinctively in him. And that's I think, what makes somebody funny. Not necessarily are they out there like spilling coffee, doing the pratfalls, trying to like, hey, look at me. It's sort of like, do they have that natural instinct? And
I
that's
don't know
the thing
if
that's
it's
hard
natural.
to fake.
I think it's something that you like. I think stand-up comedians comedians, like if you look at the great stand-up comedians, they went to clubs and then they practiced and practiced and practiced.
But
and
where did
practiced
they
and
get
practiced
where
and
did they get the
practiced.
idea that they could do it?
I don't know, from encouraging parents. I don't know.
Good call.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm sure.
we got a
I'm sure the
comedian.
parents are like, "Hey, here's a
Maybe-
worthless career track for you that
No,
you'll never
maybe
get
they
successful
like
at."
did it at home
got
or
a
something. They
comedian.
told jokes
That's what
all
I'm
the
saying.
time, and then their parents or grandparents were like, "You should pursue this."
Yes, they
Like,
had a natural inclination towards that thing. Then they had to hone it to be a professional.
No,
thing
they
that
just
could
looked at
turn-
whoever the guy their idol was at the time when they were a kid. They just turned on the radio and they were Richard Pryor was listening to who were that Mark
turned
guy
on the
was.
radio. Okay.
Or Red Fox or something, and he
Jesus
was like,
Christ.
"I want to be like Red Fox." And then,
The way you talk just shows how little you know about things in general. You're like,
Oh,
here's
what?
turn on the radio. Nobody turned on the radio to
I'm
listen
talking
to
about
Red
like
Fox.
Richard Pryor.
No, they didn't have it. They had these records that were
he
hard
went
to
to
get.
a record store and he bought a record.
That's
He
the
turned on the
difference.
record player. Is that really that much different?
It's very different, actually. Okay,
That's a little bit different.
my point being, I don't even know why you're arguing with me when I'm just saying that these people that are able to do it professionally, there's a natural inclination, a natural sense of timing, like Diego was saying. It is a timing thing. You either have it or you don't. It is really hard to get. Now, you might be able to hone it over many, many thousands of hours of training on, but I don't think that's a natural thing that you can do. It's a really hard thing. You might get a one-off thing. Listen, I know some of the unfunniest people in the world. Like I know some people that are just they just miss the timing's off on everything. They say
in
things.
real life or
yeah,
like
in real
in-
life,
in
in real life,
Hollywood?
in real life.
They're not funny.
But they're not funny. But every now and then they'll say something, and I was like, you just caught the timing perfectly. Every non-surfer catches a wave, if they're up there on those fucking in the water long
What
enough.
the fuck happened to this podcast? This is some theoretical shit.
No,
going
Neil
on here.
Neil gets what I'm saying.
No,
There
I
are
get what
people-
you're
I get-
saying, but we went.
Neil gets.
I
it's-
still think that for someone to be funny, it's because they,
okay.
they're not born funny. I don't think people are born funny and people aren't born funny.
No, I think it gets better over time, but I think there's a natural sense. It's a sense. You don't think it's a sense that somebody? It could be something that's learned, sure, but it's something that naturally it's a knack for it. A knack. That's a good word for it. Knack. It is
Yeah,
a
some
thing that
people
they
have
an
more
inclination for.
more of a knack for it than others. I will
Why are
agree
you
with that.
fucking arguing with me? I know you
I don't
even.
know.
I don't
know. I
You don't
just-
even disagree with me. I know you don't even disagree with me. You're such a
I
fucking
wish I
ass.
knew
Because
Lady
you're making
Gaga's
it so
song
black
right now.
black and white. You're like, this person, you're either funny or not funny, and it just excludes a whole group of people.
No, I mean, there's definitely nuance. There's funnier and there's less funny. There's that
Oh,
thing.
well,
but
then
I'm-
we're cool.
Oh my god, I want to slap the fucking.
I
taste
just
out
want
of
to
your
sing
mouth.
Lady Gaga's "Shallow" song right now.
Why?
Because
This is-
I'm just thinking of that
example
scene.
of what I'm saying. What does that have to do? That's not funny.
I don't even
See,
remember
he
what we
thinks
were
that's
talking
funny. I
about.
don't even know what that means.
Did I derail the whole thing?
No, I just
Are
really
we
want to
derailed?
because I'm thinking about you guys. Same scenario. They were acting on stage and people were talking about, oh my gosh, what's going on
right,
with
that's-
them?
that's a good example,
Yeah,
because Lady
exactly. It
Gaga's-
wasn't a joke. It was an example.
So Lady Gaga said
Doo-dum,
that.
shh.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, okay. Lady Gaga, she said on Jimmy Kimmel, people were like, oh my God, I want these two to
Yeah.
fuck. They're definitely fucking behind stage.
That's definitely
And
not what she said.
No,
Did she
but
say
that's what-
that?
no, people
No.
are like,
Wait,
people are like they're having sex secretly because their chemistry was so good. People are like they're either fucking backstage or they're in love with
Oh,
each
on
other or
Twitter.
wada Yeah,
Twitter is-
and so the Lady Gaga. That's what I'm gonna call her. I think Fallon's the one that says Lady Gaga. I like it, Lady Gaga. Anyways,
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. She
Sounds more
said
prestigious.
she said the greatest. I mean, she said social media. I can't believe I'm quoting her, but she's like social media is the toilet of the internet. And
She
she's
did
like,
say that.
the shit that they say and the shit they come up with. She's like, no, you guys wanted to believe we were in love because we wanted you to do that because we rehearsed that way and we made this, we created and crafted this thing.
She said it's a love
The
song.
song is
She
a love
wanted you
song.
to
And
feel
It's
yes,
a
love.
you
lie.
saw love.
It's
She's
an
like, no, they love each
illusion.
other as like friends and stuff like that, but they were up there. It's a song about love and it's from a movie about two people falling in love. So, duh. Like, good. That's what we wanted you to see. And that's a good point. So that is your point.
This is like what
Diego,
Taryn
right?
said. It's like an illusion.
You see,
all of
You
Hollywood
see
is
how my
bullshit.
non-joke caused
Everything.
the conversation.
It did. It was
Anywho.
great. I didn't say you can't spark conversations.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad we
Let's-
clarified
let's-
that I'm right, and
let's-
I don't
Yeah.
even know why
You're
we're
not
arguing.
bored
I thought
with
we were having an intellectual
Talent.
conversation. It just went fucking way
No,
off
you
the
guys
rails.
got way like
You
deep
think
into this.
DiCaprio
I'm
was
like, what
born the
fuck?
way he is now, or that he honed in
Oh
that
my
skill?
gosh!
You're
Don't
just
don't don't
Anyway.
don't give him the
This
opening.
is actually a good topic for
Later
It is
on.
actually, yeah.
Later on, yeah.
Knack versus talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
As he looks at you saying "knack."
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so many people out there that were like garbage, like we're awful at their jobs, and then we're like became dedicated and you know.
I
Took
agree.
that garbage that they had
You
and
know,
turned
All
it
I'm
into
saying
a
is
beautiful
all I'm saying is
cake.
there's a thing there that some people tend to not have. You know what I'm talking about. They're not self-aware. See, the thing, you can improve if you're self-aware.
Yeah. That's a specific thing. That's like a minority. I think there are people who tell jokes who don't. Yeah, they don't get satire. They don't get and they're not aware.
This is what I'm saying. So they will never improve beyond that point to any degree that makes them
That's
funny.
like a minority of people.
I'm just saying there's people like that. I never said it was a minority or majority, you fuckhead.
I'm being
All right,
Diego
You are
today.
being so All right, Good Morning Vietnam was a perfect example. Bruno Kirby in that he tries to be like, he basically thinks that Ron Williams isn't funny and that he's funny. He
You
goes,
don't think I'm funny?
yeah, he goes, in my heart, I believe I'm funny. And that's those kind of people. They think they're funny. Like deep down, they think I'm funny. I know I'm funny. And I'm like, and everybody else is like, you're not. Did you see that movie Sisters with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey? Bobby Monahan from SNL is in it, and he plays a guy, that one friend that comes to the party that he thinks he's fucking hilarious, and nobody else thinks he's funny. It's awkward.
Yeah.
Everything he does, he tries to make it into a joke, and it's not funny because it's this thing that's just off. And if they don't recognize it, they can't improve it.
Yeah,
And there are people like that. So there
that's
you go.
true. I agree.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Can we talk about somebody else
What
now?
is happening?
I've been in my mind
Jesus.
thinking about somebody else. Like,
Say
since
it.
you
What
guys
were we
started
talking
this
about?
Kathy, well, we were talking
Robin
about...
Williams.
Let's change. Let's go to Will Smith.
Yes. Will Smith. All right.
Will Smith.
So he
Oh,
started
yeah.
off as a rapper, but he was kind of a comedic rapper, like
Boom, boom, shake, shake the room.
Yeah, that was a little bit
Boom,
later, but his
boom,
earlier, so like
shake.
parents.
Yeah, I still like it.
No, it's a good one.
That's all I
Boom,
had.
boom. Yeah, but earlier than that, he had like Parents Just Don't Understand.
Yeah, parents just don't understand.
Yeah, Nightmare on what is it? Nightmare on My Street? No, Nightmare on. Oh fuck! I can't believe I'm losing it. Nightmare on
My Street.
Prince Street. Jesus Christ.
Anyways,
yeah,
he
Nightmare
went
on
into
Fresh
Fresh Prince
Prince
of Bel Air, and then he went into
Yeah, so he went to the comedy with that, and then he went into 6 Degrees of Separation.
which was his first serious role.
Yeah, his first movie, I think. I think it was
Yeah.
his first movie. And
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland and Stockard Channing. And that movie's intense, and he's really good
He's
in
really
it.
good in it,
He's
yeah.
really good in that
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
And that was a perfect example. And that guy's an all-around talented guy. And he's done a bunch of drag stuff
he's-
since then. He did Collateral Beauty and
Yeah.
7 Pounds and Pursuit of Happiness, which is just...
Pursuit of Happiness.
Ali.
is just incredible.
Ali? Jesus
yeah.
Christ, he played Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, have you guys seen? Are you guys following Michael Mann on Instagram? He just created an Instagram account and he's
Are
been
we changing
sharing all this.
subject again?
No, it's got to do with Ali. He directed Ali, and he's sharing. No, this has to do with it. You fuck. Just let me talk. Jesus Christ, it has to do with. The talent of Will Smith. He keeps sharing these behind-the-scenes videos of Ali, of Will Smith riffing as Ali. And him and Jamie Foxx basically having all these impromptu conversations as their characters, and how they're able to basically improvise, and how he brought his comedic flair to the role of Ali, which was a dramatic role. Is this
Jamie
on
Foxx
topic?
played,
Did you fuck? Huh?
Jamie Foxx played what the hell is that?
His
Don-
corner.
His corner.
Not Don King.
No, he didn't.
No,
No.
Who
Don
played
King.
Don King?
Nobody. I don't even think
Don King
King's
wasn't in there.
No, Don King might have been, because I think he did the Thriller in Manila, so he may have shown up for a second. But no, he plays his corner
it was
guy.
the other guy. Yeah.
His
It was,
coach or
it was
whatever.
God, who's that actor?
I forget his name.
Fuck.
Oh,
Anyway,
who
he's
played
been
Don
in a
King?
ton of shit. Yeah, the guy who played
Yeah.
Don King.
Oh, Ving Rhames. Doesn't he play Don King? He plays Don King in some movie. Oh shit! Now you're gonna drive me nuts.
No, that's actually really cool. That's a cool thing for a director to do.
It's very cool. So the reason I found out about him is because Will Smith was like, hey, he shared the video, one of the videos, the first video that Michael Mann shared.
Yeah.
And it was he's like, this is never, and these videos he's sharing were like on set things. Somebody was recording it, and these have never seen the light of day.
Yeah.
So these are like Michael Mann has these in his
there has
private
to be
little
so
collection.
much content. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
and they're so good. He's released 2 videos, some photos from behind the scenes and some stories and stuff like that. But he's released 2 videos, I think, so far of Will Smith on set, basically just in between takes, just having these big long conversations with John Voight's character as Howard Cosell, or Jamie Foxx and Jeffrey Wright. It's fantastic. It's really good. Anyway, so that's a perfect example, and I think people should check it out. It's Michael Mann on Instagram, who's the director of Heat and Ali and Miami Vice, everything else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Will Smith. Anybody want to say anything else? Shit.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it light.
I was going to mention
No, it's just-
Louis C.K. because I feel like he did some comedic roles and then transitioned into that, but now he's like.
Well, that
Well,
happened.
I mean, we could talk about Louis C.K. I mean, yeah, he
I
did.
just remember him being in like some.
Well, he's a
serious-
stand-up.
Serious roles.
you talking about
Well-
recently in his life?
No, I mean, he did. He was a stand-up, obviously, and then he directed Pootie Tang, and then he
That's
did
not-
he direct that? He directed that movie, yeah.
crazy.
And then he, but really, his show Louis is actually one of those perfect fusions of comedy and drama.
Well, he was in
American Hustle.
Yeah, American Hustle, and I remember thinking like, holy shit, like this dude.
Yeah, he's
you
kind
know.
of funny in that movie, though.
Yeah,
He's funny in that movie, but I think Louis is actually the best example of him doing drama and comedy. Do you ever watch the show Louis?
Just a little bit. I watched a lot of it.
Fucking incredible show. I mean, he writes, edits, directs stars in that show, and that show was incredible.
Yeah.
Like the storylines they would take, the things that they would find to talk about were incredible. And sometimes they'd mix it with his stand-up on stage because he played basically a different version of himself. He's like a comedian, a stand-up comedian in New York, and but there was a lot of drama. Sometimes there would be an entire episode that's not funny.
Yeah.
There would be like this episode of him going the USO, like kind of like doing stand-up comedy for the troops, and he'd go to Afghanistan or whatever, and he would put on a show for the troops, or he'd go down to Cuba, and he would just basically hang out with the locals and stuff like that. And
I
do
know
like a whole
nothing
episode on
about
that.
Louis C.K. Honestly,
Really?
I never cared for him.
Oh,
I mean, I respected him because he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen some of his stuff.
Neil
I think probably
and
one
I
or
have
two
seen
of
him
his
live 3 times.
Yeah, I just don't care.
We've heard of Outer South?
we don't support.
I just say
just
I
really-
love his work. Let's be honest.
I think it's very funny.
Well, let's flip over
comedian,
to
but-
females.
Well, I was just
Let's
going to
flip
mention
over film.
this one film. That's what made me think of it. Was Trumbo? Did you guys ever see that?
I haven't. I wanted to see that. Is he
Yeah,
in it?
Yeah, you talked
he's
about
in
it.
that. He plays like one of the writers that got blacklisted or whatever. Anyway, really, really good movie if you guys haven't seen it.
You
saw
mentioned
that
it.
I never even heard of it.
You mentioned
and
it a
then
few
randomly
episodes,
saw
yeah.
it on TV. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's talk about Sandra Bullock.
No, I don't think that's.
Yeah, I mean, I
she
would.
didn't
Miss
start off as a comedian.
Congeniality.
That's
She
later.
started-
That was later. I mean,
Miss Congeniality, Speed.
Yeah, that's the Speed is not a comedy. You got to go earlier than that. She was in Demolition Man, but again, that had comedy.
But
But it was an action.
she has a
comedy.
bigger
in Love
roles
Potion number
being
9, which was kinda
comedic
comedy.
until she started doing Blindside.
I know,
She
but
did
I don't
Blindside.
think that's a comedian being switch. Like that's not really the same thing. She did some funny roles, but she's not considered like a comedian. Like Monique, you brought up Monique in
I
Precious.
definitely brought up.
That's
Monique.
a perfect example because she was a comedian, a stand-up, and all that stuff. She was a comedian. Like you would call her a comedian. Like that was her title more than actor.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock started off as an actress. She was in that Amazon movie. It was called like Amazon Forest or Amazon Jungle, which was totally drama. That was one of her first films. She started off. She didn't come from the stand-up scene or sketch comedy. She was just an actress.
Well, she's considered an action comedy actress.
Yeah.
So,
But
all right.
she's
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I think
Monique,
you brought
yeah,
Monique,
I
which
brought
is a
up
perfect
Monique,
example. Her in Precious, Jesus,
Oh my gosh,
as Precious's mother, like I can't even.
that movie hit a level that I think a lot of films still haven't gotten to.
Yeah,
today.
that's like over 10 years old. That movie.
and that movie's 10 years old.
Yeah.
that movie is
It's
just
a tough movie to.
It's
freaking
tough. And Monique's who makes
crazy.
that tough. It's her character that makes that movie a hard
Yes.
pill to swallow.
She sets the marker for that film because how tough she is and how she is. Oh my god! Did she win an award for her role?
She was. I think she won. I think she's.
Yeah, I think she won best.
Yeah, best
supporting
Yeah, she won an
actor.
Oscar. She won the
Yeah,
Oscar.
she did. Yep, she won. She
And
won,
the Golden Globe.
and it won adapted screenplay. Yeah,
And she won a Golden Globe.
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, she was incredible.
Yeah,
She was
that was
absolutely
so
incredible.
amazing because the realism. It's like she literally experienced that toughness or that side of life, and she brought it into Precious.
Yeah,
It was just so crazy.
yeah.
And that's literally. I mean, has she done anything else? Like,
It's funny you bring that up. She's like, there's a whole thing where she's saying she got blackballed from Hollywood or whatever. She was just on Steve Harvey talking about it. That's like a thing she's talked about. Somehow she had some things that happened and she's thinking that she's blackballed.
Blacklisted.
Yeah, blacklisted, blackballed. Yeah,
Is blackballed a thing?
it's a word. Yeah, it's totally a thing.
all right, what do you guys think about Emma
Is it?
Stone?
Yeah, blackballed. It's actually more of the blacklisted is like more of like a list kind of thing. Blackballed is like you're actually like just excluded. It's more of an overall term.
Oh, like pool. What like why do they call him black bald? Like I don't understand the bald.
Dude, am I a fucking etymology specialist? I don't know. Am I supposed to be
I
coming
didn't
up-
create this shit.
All
I just
right,
follow
all
it.
right.
I don't know. Look it up. Black.
How about
Black
Emma
Bald.
Stone? A lot of films that she
Actress,
did.
though.
Well, she's an actress, but a lot of roles that she took in the beginning was
Easy
comedian.
A, super bad.
Yeah, a lot of and now
But-
she's
but,
doing
like, her
a lot
early
of
roles,
Were
like,
they comedic roles or was the film?
Yeah,
funny?
I feel like that's different though
the
because
film is
that-
humorous in itself,
Yeah.
but she's not.
Well,
funny.
because she went to Hollywood to become an actress, like that. So that's a different thing. Where there's people who pursue comedy, and there's people who pursue acting. I think those are just the roles she ended up getting, as opposed to she auditioned for and she ended up getting those roles. Like her early credits, I think, are
Was
on
Steve
dramatic
Carell
TV
like a
shows.
comedian?
Yes, because he's from sketch comedy. He's from Second City. He was from a sketch comedy background. Like he was actually a comedian. He wrote for. He did that ambiguously gay duo on SNL, the cartoon in the '90s. Him and Steve Colbert were the voices of the ambiguously gay duo. Remember that?
yeah.
no.
You don't remember the ambiguously gay
No.
duo?
Were you watching a lot of SNL back then?
Even so, they were these. It was a cartoon of two guys. They were
But if you weren't
superheroes.
watching SNL, you wouldn't have.
I know,
seen
but it was pretty popular. Anyways, Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell did the voices of those two guys?
Yeah, I remember.
Anyways,
I don't
yeah, so
remember that at
he's
all.
from Second City. He's from sketch comedy. He originated from comedy. So Steve Carell, he did Foxcatcher. He did The Big Short. Now he's
Yeah.
playing Donald Rumsfeld in a fucking movie.
Well, he did another film called The Last Flag Flying,
Yeah.
also, which was
you were telling us about that, yeah, with Lawrence Fishburne and
Lawrence
Bryan
Fishburne
Cranston.
and Bryan Cranston. Yeah,
Total
which is-
drama.
Yeah, it wasn't that great of a film, but it was a very depressing
Yeah,
film.
he's
Like
doing-
he just, when you watch him playing these serious role like that, especially that film, it was like this weak person
Yeah.
like in life. It just somebody needs to help. It was crazy.
I
It
think-
was just interesting.
Yeah, I think that's actually a perfect example. When you have comedians who are kind of like one-note comedians, I don't think they can transition into drama very much. When you have these multifaceted comedians who could do a lot within the comedic world too, they could play a lot of different characters, and like Bill
Yeah.
Hader. Bill Hader's a good example. Came from SNL. He was in Skeleton Twins. He's a great, and he's in this show Barry now, where
Yeah.
it's like there's some comedy, but that show's pretty dark and dramatic. He's a fantastic
He's in the new
actor.
It movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Coming
He's
up, yeah.
exactly. But he's a fantastic actor. But if you look at his comedic work, he's multifaceted. He plays all types of. He's so much range within comedy that I think.
Was he a comedian? He was a comedian?
Yeah, he's from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you have that, you can. I think that's what makes. If you have a one note like Gallagher, I'm not going to shit on the guy, but like Gallagher is the Smashing Watermelons.
Yeah.
Comedian. I don't know that he has a lot of range. Maybe he's a good dramatic actor. I don't know. But if you have like a one note kind of a thing going on, like that's your character.
I don't think Bill Hader had that though.
Yes, he did. Saturday Night Live, he literally could play like chameleon type characters. He could
Yeah,
play
but that's
this
not
guy.
one note. That's like the opposite.
He's good at
of one
impression.
note.
No, that's what I'm saying. Bill
Oh,
Hader's a perfect
okay.
example of he's multifaceted.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
could
yeah.
transition into dramatic work because it's almost like just another character for him.
Right.
And when these guys have range as even a comedian, I think they have range outside of comedy.
Well, I was gonna say like Marlon Wayans too, like Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. He was.
'Cause he was all, he's like Wayne's, on. Was
in
he
Living
on?
Color?
In
Yeah,
Living
he showed
Color?
up in like second to last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in like one or two seasons of that. Yeah, in Living Color. He was in Above the Rim with Tupac. That was a dramatic one early on. So he actually dabbled in drama early with Requiem for a Dream, Above the Rim.
Also, I was gonna say Maya Rudolph in Away We Go. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I haven't seen her in anything dramatic, but I can imagine she's good because she has range as a comedian.
yeah, another SNL.
Yeah,
SNL
the SNL.
comedian,
Yeah, those SNL guys seem to do it because they have to play so many different types of characters.
Yeah, every week it's like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
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 And they create the characters too, so it's not like they get to like make their own thing.
Yeah, they have to
Yeah.
write and develop characters. Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
Yeah, Steve Carell.
Yeah,
Big
Melissa
Short.
McCarthy, she's got this new movie, which I haven't seen yet, but I've seen clips from it in trailer. What's this new movie? She was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah, yeah.
Melissa McCarthy.
I heard the name, but not the movie.
Yeah, God, what's the name of the movie? She was nominated this year.
Don't Lie to Me or something like that, or
It's something like that.
it's about this chick who like plagiarizes some material or something.
Is it
I've
that
seen
what
the
it's about?
trailer.
I actually don't know. I saw the
Oh, you
trailer,
haven't seen
but
the trailer?
I saw the trailer. I don't remember. I just remember her role in it. Like I remember seeing clips of her in it.
Yeah, it's based on a
and
true
that's
story.
and that's what grabbed my attention. I actually kind of just saw the trailer and forgot about it. But then I started seeing the clips of her in it, and I'm like, wow, she looks like she's delivering a fucking great performance. She was also in St. Vincent with Bill Murray, which was a drama.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, that was fantastic. But yeah, Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Can you ever forgive
Oh,
me?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also, I sent you guys the release trailer the other day. Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah, which is kind of what got us into this discussion,
Yeah,
right?
playing the kid. Playing
What's the
the
movie
evil
called?
guy. It's called The Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
evil guy.
about
So
Billy the Kid.
it's
is
about
played
Billy the
by-
Kid,
I
yeah.
forget what that actor's name. He's not a kid.
he-
DeHaan, Luke DeHaan, or
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in
not Luke.
the Luke Besson
Valerian.
movie.
He was in the
Yeah.
Valerian.
He was
Valerian.
in Amazing Spider-Man. He
Amazing
was
Spider-Man.
Green Goblin kid.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
Harry Osborn.
But Chris Pratt is playing that dark role, which in the trailer
He's playing a
looked
villain, basically.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks amazing. So I'm excited.
Dane DeHaan is his name.
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, a lot of people are in this movie.
Yeah, it's basically Magnificent Seven.
Yeah,
too.
it's like
Magnificent
the cast
Eight.
of Magnificent Seven. Yeah.
Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio directs it. Those guys were all in Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. I love the chemistry that these comedians go through, and they do these roles. I think part of it is that we're so used to seeing them in the comedic role, and the awkwardness that you get from seeing them in the
Yep.
serious role is a part of it being successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls.
Oh,
Eddie
yeah.
Murphy in
nominated
Dreamgirls.
for an
Yeah.
Oscar too.
Yeah, I wish he won, man.
Yeah.
I was like,
let me-
because
let me-
I watched Dreamgirls,
was
and I thought I was
fantastic.
like, he is so good in this
So
movie.
good.
Yeah.
He wanted that role too.
I
He
should've
like
won an award for
pursued
that.
role. Yeah.
I should have won an award for that.
He should have.
Eddie Murphy.
I'm doing the finger thing.
Yeah, he's in the figure thing.
Yeah.
Y'all
Y'all know me. Y'all see me. I should have won an award for that.
Coming to America too is happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
Coming to yeah.
That's crazy.
So
Still coming,
Will
but-
Ferrell, Everything Must Go, and Stranger Than Fiction. Well, although I guess that's drama, but I
think
feel like
that's
there's
just-
a lot of comedy in there too. But and Everything Must Go has a little bit of comedy, but that's a good one. Bill Murray, like you said, and everything
So
he's done in the
many,
last 20 years. Lost in Translation is the first one that I really. I mean, he was in Mad Dog and Glory and other things earlier on. But
Razor's Edge.
I'm
Yeah,
concerned
Razor's
for him
Edge.
because a lot of the roles he's recently been playing is just like this depressing guy. You know,
he's all right. He just wants to do things that interest him. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
But Lost in Translation was I actually love that movie. You guys seen that one? Sophia
Yeah, yeah.
Coppola directed that. Takes
Saw it
place
once,
in Tokyo.
I mean,
Scarlett Johansson.
I should probably watch it again because I think I watched it and I was like, I don't get the hoopla.
Right.
I was
It
like,
is
Bill
one of
Murray
those-
wasn't funny, so this is a bad movie. But no, I appreciate the movie for what it is. But
Yeah,
I need to
it
watch
is overhyped when people are like, "Oh my god!" Like and they go nuts for it. Like it is one of those movies where I feel like it's overhyped in that way. But I really do like the movie. Like I think it's he's great in it. It's very different from what he's done before, and just the storyline and the kind of humanity of it. I like it. I like it a lot. But
It's one of those movies I feel like you have to read in a lot to take away something meaningful.
right.
Like it's not like you watch like when people say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a great movie, and then you watch it, like that movie is very clear about the point it's making, and
Yes.
and like it's like in your face. This movie is not in your face.
Right.
It's like
It's not.
everything's obscure, and you're like, oh, I have to read into this and try and figure out the lyrics to this song,
And nothing crazy happens.
Yeah, nothing crazy happens, and you're just like, oh, it's like an old guy who hangs out with a young chick in Japan. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
But there's a lot
I'm
more
sure I'm
going
missing
on.
something,
Well, yeah,
but-
because it is not an in-your-face kind of movie. Like even at the end when he leans in and he whispers, or she whispers.
It's
She
a
whispers
very
into his ear.
Oscar type movie.
It is- I'm trying to remember. Does she whisper in his ear or does he whisper in her ear? Anyways, you don't hear what's said.
Yeah.
Like at the end, like they're parting ways or whatever, and you don't hear what's said, and that is a perfect sum up of that movie. Is like there's just things that are kind of like, yeah, like I said, they're kind of left up to interpretation or sort of like there's deeper meaning to it.
Yeah.
And it's this guy on his last legs as a fucking person, you know.
Oh, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to mention her before when we were talking
Yeah,
about Melissa
she
McCarthy.
played
Yeah.
in Her.
Oh, she was in Her. That's
Yeah.
right. Which was that was a good movie. Spike Jonze,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
That was good. That's right.
That was a
Yeah,
really
she
good
was.
one.
She was interesting in that too.
She was
She was
very
like
interesting.
awkward, right? Yeah, Kristen Wiig. She was in that, and she was in this other movie that came out.
Was it that film
she was
13 Billboards with a lot of long titles?
Skeleton.
No,
Skeleton
What was that
Twins.
Huh?
Skeleton Twins, right?
Yeah, that's right. Which we talked about before. Bill Hader. Oh my gosh, she's really dramatic in that movie. Like the Skeleton Twins.
Oh, yeah,
is
that's
a
right.
depressing movie. She was also in. God, what was this movie called? It was.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
She was in Mother.
Girl-
She was in that movie Mother.
Girl Mostly Most likely.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what to call that movie. That movie is
Yeah.
such a
Bridesmaid.
drug trip.
But that was-
Don't take any drugs and watch Mother, and you'll feel like you're on drugs, and you'll
Yeah.
be very upset at the end of that movie, and you're like, why did I just ruin my evening?
That's right. She was in the.
It's not a bad movie.
That's right.
but
She was in The
it's just a
Martian. She was in The
crazy
Martian.
movie.
Yeah, she was in The Martian. She's
Yeah,
kind of
that's right.
broken
I mean,
out and is doing other things.
I feel like
Oh, Welcome to Me. She was
That
in
was
Welcome
kind
to
of
Me,
like a
yeah.
throwaway role.
I'm just
but-
saying it wasn't a comedic role. She wasn't being a comedian, right?
Yeah.
She was. I'm not saying she was phenomenal, and she was fine in The Martian, but it was her doing stuff outside of comedy. Kevin Hart recently did The Upside, which I think is his first dramatic one I can even think of.
Yeah, I heard that was actually really good.
Well, yeah, I wasn't really interested in seeing it only because it's a remake of Untouchables, which I was like, why are they remaking that? Which I saw, not that long ago. It's a French film with Omar
Yeah.
Sy, the guy from Jurassic World and everything. It's a really good film, and I was like, it was released pretty widely in America, and I think it was nominated for an Oscar and everything. So I was like, it's weird. I think you should take foreign films that are kind of more obscure and people don't really know about here and remake them in the States. I don't know why you take a movie that actually broke boundaries and already came over here and was successful and then remake it only a few years later.
If they love remakes.
Somebody thought it was time.
They do. But it really wasn't. It just sort of, anyways. But,
Like
but-
how
but-
you say that, but it really wasn't.
I don't know. I just feels like, I don't know, that movie already got popular within the last 10 years in the States.
I was gonna say Peter Sellers and Being There.
Yes,
Good
which
call.
I saw not that
Great
long ago
movie.
for the first time.
Really?
Yes.
First time?
First time, yeah. It's just one of these ones I always wanted to see.
Such a crazy movie.
It's so
he's great,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, it is it's almost like a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type movie. Like in the sense that like I don't know, the movie for me felt
Yeah.
it was very impactful in that way, in a sense.
Yeah.
They're totally different movies, but
So Peter Sellers is definitely a comedian, Pink Panther,
Yeah.
Inspector Clouseau and all that. But then he does this movie Being There, which is basically about a guy who's so simple-minded. He basically has no interaction really with the outside world or with real life. He's
Yeah.
obsessed with TV, doesn't really react properly in situations, almost autistic in a way.
he's like a gardener.
He's a gardener, but that's all he is. He's so simple, but he keeps running into people and talking somehow, not even knowingly or consciously, bullshitting his way through every situation in life to the point where he practically becomes president at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, it's all because people just hear what they want to hear. He talks about gardening and they think it's a metaphor. And he's literally talking about gardening.
Yeah.
Because he's just a gardener and he doesn't know much.
Yeah.
But he plays it like so deadpan. Like
Yes.
it's not a comedy, but it's humorous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a child basically it's like a bad Disney movie where like an 8-year-old becomes president of the United States because like everybody just thinks he's a genius and he's just an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting movie.
Yeah.
So there's so many
Yeah.
of them. I mean, I can
Ben
I would-
Stiller and Greenberg and
we talked about Ben
Seth
Stiller.
Rogen. No, we didn't. Seth Rogen and Steve. We did that before we started.
Steve Martin.
Oh, we did
and
we?
the
Oh.
Spanish Prisoner.
We talking about
Oh,
Chris
sure.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, Chris Tucker in Silver Linings
Silver
Playbook.
Linings
Yeah, we did
Playbook.
this all before the episode. We were talking about them.
Yeah, sorry, people.
Chris Tucker.
We're
Sorry.
we
Our
kinda got into it
conversations
prior.
blend from before and after. Seth Rogen and Steve Jobs.
Seth
A
Rogen.
little bit in 50-50.
Did we
which
mention
comes
Jamie
better.
Foxx and Ray and
No, we
Collateral?
didn't. Yeah.
and-
Oh, it's a
Jamie
perfect
Foxx.
example because he came from
Literally-
In Living Color and all
yeah,
that.
but in Living Color, and he had that show. God, what was that show before?
Jamie Foxx show.
Was it called the
It's
Jamie
called the
Foxx
Jamie
show where he
Foxx
played
show.
that crazy chick or whatever, where he would like dress
Wanda.
up? Wanda.
well,
Yeah,
that came from In
Tawanda or
Living
something,
Tawanda, whatever.
Tawanda.
That came from In Living Color,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I just
Jamie
remember
Foxx,
I
he was a
always
hotel,
switching
and he
channels,
was like the
that
front
show-
desk at a hotel.
Yeah, and he would play all these crazy characters or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, those came from
I got
In Living
you.
Color. I got you. The
I
lips.
got you. Don't worry about
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
got
like
you.
lip thing.
Yeah, but that came from In
I
Living
remember. I remember,
character
I
came from
remember
In
that
Living Color.
episode in Living Color where he was playing Wanda.
Yeah.
And they went on a double date. And the guy was just trying to freaking leave. He was like, I need to go. I got to go get gas in my car. Oh, don't worry. I got you. And she pulled a gas can out of her purse, man. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you joking?
That's
I got
funny.
you. You ain't got to worry about
Yeah,
it.
no, he was funny. He's multi-talented. He's also a singer and a
Oh my
piano
gosh,
player,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
he won an Oscar for Ray, and he's incredible in that. He
He's-
did Django. I mean,
Yeah, he won for Collateral, I think, best supporting actor.
Ali. He was in Ali as well,
Yeah.
and Collateral. I don't think he won for Collateral. I think he was nominated for Ali, which was Michael Mann as well. Michael Mann did Collateral
I'm pretty
and
sure
Ali.
he won for Collateral.
No.
Which is weird.
No, I
'cause-
don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
But Michael Mann, who directed both of those within 3 years of each other, he was in both of them. I think he was nominated for Ali. And then he won for Ray.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So But I could see because Michael Mann did both those movies and he was in both of them. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even nominated for Collateral. But you'll use your trusty little Gidget to prove me right or wrong. Yeah.
He was nominated for Best Performance Actor in a Supporting Role.
For what?
For Collateral.
Oh, he was. What about Ali? Was he nominated for that? What are you looking at? Don't you have IMDb? Fucking what are you using? Google?
Bixby.
No, it's his IMDb.
Dude, it's like takes 2 seconds. Those movies are 3 years apart.
He's using Bixby.
You just look at his Oscar nomination.
Oh, I'm like searching. Dude, I'm not on here all the time.
Do you not know how to use IMDb?
No, he was not nominated. Will Smith was nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role, and John Voight was nominated for Best Supporting
All right, so
Role.
I was wrong. I actually had those mixed up. All right, so
I knew he was nominated for Collateral though, because I
Yeah.
remember it was like this weird thing
It
where
seemed
people
weird.
thought that Cruise should have been nominated, and
Right.
they're like, why is Jamie Foxx getting a nomination?
which is true because Tom Cruise was incredible in Collateral.
Yeah.
like he really
They
was.
hate Tom Cruise, so they're never going to.
That's right. He was only nominated for Ray and won for Ray, and then I'm sorry, he was nominated for Collateral.
One for Ray.
That's right. You're right. Okay,
Which
good.
one
Cool.
came
I really
first?
thought because
Ray came first,
He was
right?
better, and Ray came after.
I feel like Ray was first.
Ray came after Collateral. They were within a year of each other. Yeah, but the funny thing is that he was better in Ali. That's the thing. It's all subjective and chance and opportunity because Ali,
very subjective.
Jamie Foxx was incredible in Ali,
Yeah.
and he should have been nominated minimally for that role. But he ended up, I guess that's probably why they gave him the nomination for Collateral, because they're like, this last Michael Mann movie you did, we should have given you nominations. We'll give you one for this one.
Have you ever seen Radio with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a good movie?
Incredible.
It's all right.
Really?
It's really incredible.
I want to watch it.
You really see,
Okay.
like, I love that film because you really see him break out in that role.
Yeah.
I think that.
I just remember he got like so much shit for that movie, and it like
For what?
for Radio. Because they felt like it was almost like the Ben Stiller joke of like he went too far or something, and
No.
it was like I'm telling you, like when that movie came out,
No, I'm
there
saying,
was, like,
I don't think he- no,
the
I'm saying
media was
I've
like
s-
going crazy.
I
on
love
him.
that film. I
Yeah.
think that film was very well done.
Yeah.
And I don't think he overdid anything. I mean, people stop being fucking sensitive when you ask for realism and you get realism.
It's
you
true,
know,
yeah.
stop.
Well, never go too full, never go full, whatever.
Well, that's
It's
what
like
I'm
that
saying.
kind of thing.
Like,
It's
well, I was just watching Mercury Rising, and the movie's about Bruce Willis, who
and the autistic kid.
yeah, this kid, and the kid like just does an incredible performance.
Yeah.
Like and I think maybe more people now. Well, also Dustin Hoffman brought a lot of light to like autism
Rain Man.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
and Rain Man. But yeah, I don't know. I want to watch it now.
You should watch it.
I don't
It's a
know
good
why I
film.
never saw it. Like it came out. I remember, Jerry Maguire, and then
Yeah.
it was a movie he did called Men of Honor with Robert
That's
De
right.
Niro. Cuba
Yeah.
did, and I thought he was great in that.
Yeah.
I think Radio is actually the film that I started acknowledging Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, but he like fell off. Like he just now he has all
For me, it
these
was
like
Boys in
Steven
the-
Spielberg.
for me, it was
or
Boys in the
Steven
Hood.
Spielberg. He's like
No,
Steven.
I remember Boys in the Hood.
He's incredible in that movie.
Yeah, but
But like,
Boys in the Hood was more like a group, like you recognize
Like an
everybody
ensemble
in it.
cast.
Yeah, an ensemble cast. When it came to Radio, it was really just him
that scene
hitting that
where
ground.
that cop pulls him over or whatever, puts the gun in his face, and then he gets back to his girlfriend's
Yeah.
house, and he fucking loses it. And that movie's incredible. Like
Yeah.
that,
All right, we need to, we're derailing.
so good.
Yeah, so.
But
All right.
yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go.
So there's plenty of comedians out there that did an incredible job going serious and getting some serious role.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see Chris Pratt in The Kid and see what Melissa McCarthy does in her new film coming out. What's it called again?
It just came out. Can you ever forgive me?
Can you ever forget?
Oh,
it?
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage, Leaving Las Vegas. Like I feel like he started out as the comedic roles.
No,
Yeah,
not
Like
but
Raising
comedic-
Arizona
But again,
and-
comedic roles, not a comedic act, not a comedian. This is the same
I don't know,
argument we
man.
had
In the middle of the
before. No.
podcast, Nick set a boundary, and then we
I still
followed it.
feel
No,
like he was a goofball, and then he did.
No,
he
he did
transitioned into like
yeah.
serious.
He did goofy
movies,
movies, but this is Coppola. He came out as an actor. He was always trying to be an actor. Like, come on, he wasn't a comedian. He just happened to be in comedic movies. It's a very big difference. He didn't come from comedy. He didn't.
All right.
He came in as an actor.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us here at Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
You ain't funny, Nick.
I just got in from out of town, and boy, what did you do? I just flew in from out of town.
Oh,
and
you
boy, am
fucked
I
it up
hard.
already. You already fucked it
See? Never go from dramatic to comedian.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.